y equals 2x plus 1 squared minus 5. Okay, where you have to convert it to standard form. All right. Well, when you have three things multiplied together, you just pick two of them at a time. That's it. You can only multiply two things at a time. So, pick any two you want. I prefer to FOIL first. So that's what I'm going to choose. Okay? So when I pick my any two pieces, I'm just going to pick this part here because I can FOIL a perfect square trinomial pretty quickly in my head. And then I pick the next two things. And I distribute the two. Okay, 2 squared. Okay, so standard form ends up being this. Vertex standard. Notice the A value is the same. Okay, vertex to standard form. Okay, so now we can do intercept to standard form. Standard form. Okay. Y equals, my favorite, negative plus 1x minus 4. That is also a review skill, right? It's a vocab thing because it's giving you the directions and the format in the words. So you have to know which format is which. Notice we've got vertex form is written up there. Intercept form is written beneath of it, right next to the quadratic formula. So standard form is the ax squared plus bx plus c, which means it wants you to expand. Well, I have a negative, the first factor, and the second factor. You can only multiply two things at a time. So pick two and multiply. First, outer, inner, last. Okay, now pick the next two. And multiply. Okay, just be careful with those signs. Okay, so standard form. There you go. Now, really, why do I want to put something in standard form? I don't. It's not easy to graph in standard form. It's much easier to graph in vertex or intercept. And so what we're going to actually focus on is going back to the more useful forms, okay? And that's where most of our lesson is going to be today. Now, you've also already gone from standard to intercept. That's how you graphed it. All of those questions were in standard form and you factored it, right? You've already done that direction, okay? So let's go standard, right? Standard to intercept, okay? Which is also factored form, okay? Right? The directions are new, but the skills are not, right? Multiply, FOIL, factored, those things are not new. Okay, so let's do, oh yeah, I like this one. Okay, y equals negative x squared minus 4x minus 3. Okay, standard to intercept. That means I need to create factors. Okay, so factoring is the skill. We've learned the skills, now we're learning the directions. So if I need to factor this, I need to first take out that negative, right? Don't factor with a leading negative. Watch my signs change as I undistribute. Okay, and factor. Okay. So can I multiply to 3 and add to 4? Yes. X plus 3, x plus 1. So y equals negative x plus 3, x plus 1. Now, why would converting be something useful to know? Well, if you're trying to graph, you can graph from any format. You want to convert it to try graphing? It's a great idea. If I have standard form, I may want to find the x-intercepts by factoring. So it's like a big circle. All these things are connected. You get to pick whichever format seems most useful. Okay, so if you don't have the format you want, you may have to convert it. Okay. Standard to vertex. Ready? That's the big part of our lesson today. It's going to be standard to vertex. 2, 3, 4. All right, here we go. Y equals x squared minus 4x plus 6. Okay. Vertex form has this. Okay, I'm going to write my vertex form here. Vertex form has a perfect square. So what I'm doing is I'm going to try, okay, to end up with this perfect square, which uses complete the square. Okay, so if you have a second color, you're going to want it. So I'm going to write this, x squared minus 4x space. Okay, y equals. Now, it is important that you look at every line, and every line is equal to the line before it. So I'm going to half it and square it because I know that's how I make a perfect square. So I'm going to put this number plus 4 here. Is the second line actually equal to the one before it? No. What do I have to do to make this equal to the line before it? Subtract 4. Okay. Is this line actually equal to the one before it? Good job. That means that what you've done is mathematically correct. Okay, that's all we try to do. We try to keep each line equivalent. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor those terms because it's a perfect square trinomial because I picked it that way. So this becomes, I'll write it out for some of you, okay? So we get x minus 2 squared, and then I add up these two terms on the outside. Okay, and I get plus 2. Vertex form. Magically. Okay, it's really important that you focus on keeping each line equivalent to the one before it. Okay, so now we're going to put a negative here. Okay, focus on equivalency. You have the knowledge and the skills to complete the square. Okay, you know how to complete the square. You know how to factor. Now your job is to just pay attention really closely to each line. Okay, so I know that I need to get this factor here. Okay, but I've got this negative. Okay, which I can't complete the square with a negative in front. So y equals, leave a space here. If you didn't leave a space before, leave a space because I'm going to write something between that. Okay, and I'm going to factor out the negative, but I'm only going to factor it from those first two terms. Because notice how this 3 out there, that's not part of completing the square, okay? This part here is what I'm going to complete the square with, okay? It's those first two x terms. Those are the old, right? Usually we move the number part away because I'm not completing the square with the number. All right. If I want to complete the square, what number do I need? 9, thank you. Okay, can somebody else tell me how I got the 9? Sure, Margot?
You divided 6 by 2 and then square it.
Okay. Yeah, picking the 9 is not the hard part, guys. You can do it. Is this line equivalent to the one before it? No. Okay, so how am I going to make it equivalent? Almost. Almost. Yes. Here we go. That one doesn't work. That one should work. Okay, so almost. This is where I said be careful. So I'm going to write it in pencil. Okay. I'm just going to redistribute my negative to this parentheses here. Oh, look at that. Look at what I actually did here. This first set of parentheses actually includes this negative in front. So I know it looks like I wrote a plus 9, but really I subtracted 9.
So which is equal?
No, it's not equal. It's not equal. Is this line actually equal to the one before it? No. How am I going to make it equal? Plus 9. You have to focus on your equivalency. Okay, because you got to look at it. Now, is my blue line right here actually equivalent to this? Yes, because if I distribute this minus 9, I really minus 9. So I have to add 9. Okay, now complete the square. That's completing the square. We'll do it with another negative. Okay. So I'm gonna set it up. I need these two terms in order to complete the square. So I'm gonna factor the negative out, okay? Because I need the x to have a positive 1 in front. Okay? Notice how what I wrote was exactly equal to the line before it. Positive 25. Okay, so I'm just going to think. I'm like, okay, well, if I redistribute this negative, because that, right, this is part of it. That negative is included. I get negative x squared plus 10x minus 25. So that's what I have. Okay, so I really need this to be a plus 25 because of the way that negative distributes. Okay, so it's going to be plus 25 because it's opposite whatever you did inside the parentheses. It's the opposite, so you've got to be careful. If there's a negative, I know it looks like I'm adding 50. I'm not, because this one's really negative. Okay, complete the square. Plus 18. Yes.
Like dividing 10 and getting the 25, should we be using the second, like negative 10 rather than the first?
Yes, yes, because this is the piece here. Okay, good question. This part here is what's turning into this. Okay, so whatever's inside the parentheses, that's what you are factoring. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. I'm going to put a number, not a negative. I'm going to put a number. See if you can come up with the correct number to put inside and outside the parentheses. Okay. Okay. Keep it equivalent. See that factoring? Okay. You figure out what's going to go here and what's going to go there. Make sure it's equivalent to the line before it. Because you know what's going to go in this first blank. You know it. But you got to look at it and make sure you do the right thing outside to keep it equal to the line before it. Okay. Can I have a volunteer to tell me what goes in the first blank? Here, we'll go here. Colleen. Plus 16. Fabulous. Okay. I'm thinking. Alex?
Negative 32.
Negative 32. Yes. Because, all right, so what happens is because I start getting used to it, I don't actually do the full distribution here. I usually just check the term that I added, right? The pink thing is the only thing that's different from the line above it. So I check, I'm like, okay, so really, I added 32. That's really what I did, which means on the outside, I have to be opposite whatever I did. Opposite whatever you did. So see this? The only thing I really check is minus 25. So outside it has to be opposite. That's really what I'm looking at. I don't do my full distribution. I just check the term that is different and make sure that it's equal. So now I complete the square. Now I actually like move to the next line. So 2, the parentheses condense to x plus 4 squared and then minus 37. Okay, so what we're going to do for a few minutes. Sorry. Okay. You can do it on whiteboard, scratch paper. It's actually different than the worksheet you have in front of you. Okay. Pick. Okay. Oh, this is perfect. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Try completing the square with those 3 problems. It's not on your worksheet. Sorry, it's a different worksheet. Just do them in your notebook. Just try completing the square. Okay.
We use this as like examples, or we just.
It doesn't matter. Anywhere. Whiteboards, paper, notebook. Just 3 examples. See if you can complete the square. And we're going to focus on equivalency. You know how to complete the square. But now you have to just really pay attention to what you're doing on each line. And then we'll use our computers after this. No, this is plus. Yeah, so then the other one is minus. Yes, awesome, keep going.
Really?
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so now you factor this one,
Oh.
right? Because that's gonna turn into the thing square. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Focus on your equivalency. Right, so. You see when you have. So you can ignore the plus. Ignore this one. Now you get from here to here. Why did I drop the parentheses?
Try expanding. Expand it goes up. It's small.
Okay, so how does x squared plus 4 equals 4? Yes, okay. So far, you're good to this, right? So now I don't want to go. Now, when I put plus 4,
That means you're gonna be.
it was really a minus 4. So okay. Okay. All right, looking good. All right. Now, some of the problems can be super quick. I'm going to go plus 4 minus 4. Because that one, there's like no extra coefficients. Cool? So then I'm going to factor these pieces to x plus 2 squared. Combine those other two, plus 2. So the first one was pretty easy. Now, I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, so I have this negative in front, so I need to do a little bit of setup first. Okay, and then I do my work. I'm like, okay, half it, square it. But I'm really thinking to myself, okay, so really, this is a minus 4, so I also have to add 4, because they have to be, these numbers have to be opposites. It doesn't matter which one's positive or negative, but they have to be opposites. So the one that's first, okay, is really the minus 4. So this one has to be plus 4. See that negative? That's what's changing the sign. And then I factor. Minus, boop, boop, ba-doo, minus 3. Okay. Oh, now I got a negative 2. Okay, so negative 2. I've got to set it up. Watch your changing signs. Okay. And half it, square it, half it, square it. Okay, but I'm really thinking here, this is really a minus 18. So I also have to add 18. They have to be opposites. So out here, it's got to be plus 18. All right, so then we factor it. Negative 2. X minus 3 squared. Thank you. Okay. I have, oh, we still have 30 minutes, guys. Yay.